So I kind of messed things up earlier in this. Hopefully I can show this better, how to take control of the social media icons as kind of a different path, different problem than these icons. So looking at these, we're going to go down to find it here. Okay, so the main problem we have basic buttons there. It's controlling the button shape around it, and we have our button social controls a lot of what we want. So let's copy this and bring that to our style sheet. I can put it after some of those other button type things we have. And I guess I should play around here with what that changes first. Okay, so the width and the height, I think I maybe already changed this in another recording. No, I guess this is the default, 2.5. So if I mess with this, so if that becomes 1.5 by 1.5, that's going to give us really small circles, right? If I change the inline flex, that kind of changes the positioning. That's related to the align items. If you don't have inline flex, then you're not going to be able to do anything with the align items. Those are working together, as well as the justify content. That also is part of what helps them be centered and in the right place. The padding has to do with the space around the icon, but that's also being influenced by the height and width that we have going on. And the border radius is what makes the circle. So if we turn that off, it's doing a default border radius somewhere else that's still rounding it. So if we want it to be square, it's like the default button rounded corner. That's what it was doing. If we want it to be square, we need to leave this in but have it be 0%. That's going to give us a perfect square version of it. So if we do this back to 2.5, but do the square, that's what we'd get. Oops, this rarely works. If you don't get a highlighted field first, it fails. Okay, so that would be a good alternative. Bring it down to 2 REMs and the border radius to 0, and then it's our button color, so you would have already decided that. So I'm going to go ahead and make that change just so that I'm showing you how to change something here. 0%. Okay, so that changes it everywhere where those appear. So now I have squares instead of the circles wherever I have those buttons. And I think, do those appear here as well? No. Okay, so not too hard of a change there. It is harder to make these icons bigger. Thankfully they're at a size that's fairly good right now. If I do want to make them bigger, it's tricky because it's an inline style, which has to be changed right there. And the reason it's an inline style is it's being computed through the JavaScript that's happening. So I would have to go to the I itself. Okay, so here's the I class. So we're going to be looking at just this blogger B. And I would have to do, well, let me do it somewhere where we can see it all at once. I'll do it here at the end. Style equals, and then in quotes, whatever I want it to be. So font size 24 pixels, let's say. And that way I got it bigger. Okay. It's really messy to do inline styles, but you can do that. and I could do whatever CSS I want to inside of these quotes that start in the style attribute here. So I could do color green. Okay, so I have control over it, but it would have to be done on each one of these individually. So it would be great if I could just, have all let's see. I wonder if we could override it. I don't know that we can, but let's try that. Because I tried this earlier and it was just really frustrating that it was so hard to get to. So here's back to normal. Let's go into our styles. So eyes. No. So that should work, but because these are all I elements, but the way that they end up computing, it becomes an SVG inline class, and I don't know that I can get past that any more specifically than it does, because it's and you notice when it does the style here, it just says style. It doesn't say it's in a remote style sheet, either mine or the template one. It's just in the page. There's no reference for it. So I in here I can turn it off, but I can't. Other than doing that inline style that I was doing, I can't get to it, which is really frustrating when you're trying to change from a template. But it is possible. So where was it? Yeah. So if I really want to make a change, I can do it here. But I would have to do that everywhere. So if it's limited, I could do that. So I'm just going to sneak this in. Oops, what'd I do? After each of these. So that way all three of these got bigger, but it didn't do it anywhere I didn't put that. So hopefully it helps you. It's a really messy way to change a template, to do an inline style, because they're so inefficient, because you have to do them each new place. And it shows the power of doing a separate remote style sheet, because I just do this once and it would do all of them. Okay, hope that helps.